with people's packages being stolen there. We have Richard Giacovis, who's actually on the scene, where 41-year-old Burham Havoli was killed earlier in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Richard, this is just such a devastating story, and one that I think so many people can relate to. The issue with the packages, the heroic superintendent who lives in the building. We're hearing he had 3 kids who were off to school at the time of this fatal scuffle this morning.
I think that when you think about a superintendent like this guy was everything you'd want to be managing and looking over your building as a tenant. And Burham Havoli, even talking to all the residents here who Lisa ever spoke to today, that's sure what it seems like he was. He was somebody who really stood guard of his building and protected his tenants. And in this case, those packages, yeah, there are no trespassing signs all around this building, inside, outside, because this appears to be something that happens quite often here on Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn at the different buildings here, where there are porch pirates, package thieves who come in, steal people's packages and run off with them. And he knew that, so he stood guard by it. And as soon as he saw someone caught in the act when this happened, he went and approached them. And that's when this now person of interest who's in custody, police custody, no charges yet, but this person of interest approached, was caught off guard by the superintendent, by Burham. He went up to him, and there was a scuffle that ensued, and that's when the attack happened. And when you look at a guy who really took so much, even with 3 kids and a wife, pride in his job and wanting to protect the job that he had and to the tenants here, just over some items, that material things potentially that maybe he didn't have to sacrifice his life for, but he didn't have a fear, obviously not knowing what was going to happen, and it was a worst case scenario, but he really tried to do whatever he could to protect the people in this building. And I think that's the theme here. Everybody is talking about that and how wonderful a guy he was even beyond this. And they weren't, obviously knowing that he went and did this, it didn't necessarily surprise them that he was trying to stop these thieves, because this is something that's been happening more often, especially as we get closer to the holiday season. But he jumped into action and did what he could. But it's just horrifying, the details, because they found him badly beaten, and his brother, who Steve, I know we have sound from earlier that you're going to throw to, but the brother is the one who found him, and he was so badly beaten. There was a time there when he tried to keep him alive until paramedics got here, and he couldn't survive it. It's horrible, but I think we want to hear that sound.
It sounds like he was
from his
beaten
brother
with a cell phone, apparently, according to what we're hearing in the press. And you did allude to the fact that we did speak with his brother. Lisa Evers was able to speak with him about her brother. Let's listen to that now.
They call him in the nighttime, 8, 9 o'clock, for problems or maintenance issues. He never refused. He always go. He was eating one time. We were here. We were eating and drinking together, a tea. He said, "Let me go. I want to go help this old lady or young person or whatever, new tenant. I just want to go and help."
That was the brother, unfortunately, of the victim, Burham Havoli, talking about what an upstanding guy he was. As you alluded to, Richard, how seriously he took the job. That is a tough job, being building superintendent. When people need you, they need you in a hurry all hours of the day. His brother talking about how dedicated he was to the people who lived in his building, and obviously acting that out today, unfortunately, with tragic results. Confronting someone in the building, stealing packages, going above and beyond. He tried to hold them there for the cops to arrive. And unfortunately, he lost his life. It appears he may have had a heart attack, and as you mentioned, he suffered some serious head trauma from that fight with the person who is now being held. No charges as of yet. They're still figuring it all out. But I think a story so many people can really identify with. And, if you've got a special building super like that, it adds so much to your life, knowing they're there, going above and beyond every day. Just a horrible story, Richard.
It really is. And when you talk to the neighbors here, and some of them were telling us that he was a refugee from Kosovo, and they believe that he and his brother came over from Kosovo, and we believe that his funeral will be held there. I do want to mention the NYPD had said that they're waiting on the medical examiner for an official cause of death, because they're not calling this a murder yet. Obviously, what we're hearing is that he was badly beaten. They have to wait on that information, and then they make an arrest, depending on when the medical examiner finishes and when it reports back. So, I also want to note, because I didn't say this, the father of 3 children, all of those kids are under the age of 8. So he was a dad with young kids, which just makes this that much more heartbreaking and so difficult to kind of wrap your head around. But also a warning to people in New York City and beyond, that as we approach the holiday season, and as you maybe are receiving packages in the mail, maybe you should try to put on there that you should sign for those packages and they should try to be delivered to your door. There should be a way that we can protect, obviously, the tenants, the superintendent, from these porch pirates, and I'm sure the NYPD is going to be cracking down on that too.
Not an easy issue, no doubt about it. All right, very well put, as always. Richard, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, we're going to take a little
Steve.
break here. And then we've got the big Jets game coming up. They've won 2 in a row. They're 2-7, but hey, they're on a winning streak. They're going up against the red-hot divisional rival Patriots. We're going to dive into this big Thursday night game. All right, 7:15. Welcome back to Newsroom Live. This is my view here in the newsroom of Fox 5 on the Upper East Side. A busy night. They're all busy, aren't they, this time of year? In this world we're living in these days. All right, we've got a big football game tonight. The Jets on a bit of a winning streak. They won the last 2. They're 2-7, but hey, they're showing some signs of life. We'll take that, right? They're about to play their divisional rival, the Patriots, who they're in a whole new world now. They're 8-2, really one of the big surprises of this NFL season. On the strength of their second-year quarterback, Drake May. He's from UNC, of course. Their former coach, Bill Belichick, is now at UNC, not having quite the same amount of success as his old team in the NFL. One of many interesting twists and turns with these two franchises over the year. But we can see that it's a big game, and there's some cause for celebration on both fronts, although maybe a little less on the Jets front. But we'll take what we can get, right? We're going to hear for now. Tina Stravassi was able to sit down with Jets defensive end Jermaine Johnson, talking about the season so far and tonight's big matchup with the Pats.
All right, great. Well, Jermaine, coming off your second straight win and 6 sacks for the Jets defense, and you had one of those sacks, what was different in the way that the team played over the Browns on Sunday?
I mean, just understanding nobody's going to come help us. You know, we dug ourselves in this hole. It's our job to dig ourselves out, and understanding that, you know, our main goal is to go 1-0 every week, and it's as simple as that. Just attacking, putting your hard hat on, getting to work, and making sure everybody does their 1 of 11, and to help their team in their respected phase do the best job.
And as you were going into that game, I mean, 5 days earlier, you lose 2 of your best defensive players to trades, and it happens. You know, it's a business. We always hear about that in the NFL. But did that do something, especially to the defense? Did it ignite something, wake you guys up? What was the impact, do you think, or was there, from those trades?
I wouldn't say too much ignite, because obviously if you have any kind of good locker room, you know, everybody's close together. So obviously, you know, I'm one of those people who, you know, wasn't too happy about it, but at the same time, my job is to play football and play the best of my ability, and I have all the faith to the guys upstairs, Coach AG, for the vision of this team. So just trusting in them, believing in them, you know, saying farewell. But they're in great situations, you know, they're going to be just fine. But just understanding, like I said, nobody's going to come help us. Still our job to dig ourselves out. And at the end of the day, change breeds opportunity. So, you know, those 2 guys gone, who's going to step up? Naming the NFL is just, you know, creating a legacy for yourself. So I'm sure everybody was excited to jump into that opportunity and, you know, show what they got.
You mentioned opportunity, you mentioned your feelings about the trade, and I thought you were very forthcoming and honest. You put out a post on social media. It was really powerful, though. I mean, it was your reaction. You talked about feeling sick, but also being part of the change of this franchise to make it better. And you said, quote, "Better things are coming, and I give my word on that." What was some of your teammates' reactions to that?
Just understanding that if you really want to go far in whatever you do in life, you got to do it for something bigger than yourself. And, you know, when I got drafted here, you know, I was very excited to give my all in part to change this. And, you know, as long as I'm here, that's never going to stop. And I think everybody is adopting that mindset or has already had it. But I think that's kind of how everybody's attacking this thing is, you know, leave something better than you found it. And I think we're all excited for that challenge.
I thought that was a clear example of your leadership. How has your leadership evolved here with the Jets since you were drafted?
Quite a lot. You know, I came into a good situation with a lot of good vets in my room, kind of showing me how everything goes. And it's funny, I was just talking to my family recently. You know, I was still mature for the most part, but I was a young kid. I'd goof off and, you know, joke here and there. You know, I didn't have too many eyes on me because I wasn't, you know, I was a leader, but I wasn't the captain or you know, an older vet leader by any means. So, you know, now me being in that position is funny. Kind of have to make sure, you know, I'm on point because, you know, there's a lot of young guys looking at me, how I operate, what I say, listen to what I say. Because leading by example is the best way to lead, and the most kind of frequent way younger guys follow. They're just going to watch. You know, no one really cares what you say. It's kind of what you do. So I guess that would kind of be the biggest change, is understanding that, you know, I got a lot of eyes on me, and I definitely got to make sure I'm doing everything the right way and, you know, creating a good example.
Going back to when you were away from the team, rehabbing your Achilles last season, how much did that have an impact on you during that time? Like, how did it change you? What did that do to you, whether it was mentally or your approach when you came back to the game?
Yeah, no, it definitely changed me. I've never been injured, especially that magnitude. So, you know, being away from the game that long, being away from, you know, all the things that had become muscle memory to me, now having to kind of relearn, kind of, in a sense, feeling and literally learning how to walk again. It definitely was a great challenge, but it just showed me more of who I was, because I always would see guys get hurt, and I'd be like, man, I don't know if I could do that. Like, you know, sitting out a whole year, being away from a game you love so much, and then on top of that, like I said, learning how to walk again, and then learning how to be, you know, an elite player again. You know, that's a challenge in itself, and I always would think to myself, like, I don't know if I can do that, but, you know, obviously I can do that. So just definitely instilled a little bit more confidence in myself, just understanding that I can do whatever I want.
So how would you compare the Jermaine Johnson sitting here right now compared to that player who went down week 2 of 2024, whether it's the mental change or even the
Yeah.
physical change?
Definitely more gratitude for where I am and what I do. And, I always thought guys kind of sounded, even though I knew they were genuine, just kind of sounded corny. Like, oh, I'm even more grateful to be here because I can be taken away. But it's so true because, in a sense, I was on top of the world. I felt great. I was playing great, peak physical shape. And then, boom, I'm down for a year just like that. So just being very thankful for where I am and what I get to do every day.
When you look at Coach Glenn, how much of the former Jets player in him comes out, whether it's at practice or during games?
Oh, yeah, it never goes away. You know what I'm saying? He just has his helmet off now. But no, he's a great leader of men, very consistent in his messaging. And, he asks a lot out of all of us. And he asks a lot out of his leaders to kind of do the right thing, lead this team the right way, and definitely pass the message along.
Okay, so right now you're 3 days in between two important games. So as you get ready to face the top team, of course, in your division, how does this Jets team continue to build on these 2 wins?
Go 1-0 this week. Yeah, that's kind of been our outlook. Like I said, we dug ourselves into that, 0-6, 0-7 hole, whatever we're in, and it's our job to dig ourselves out. So just making sure we go 1-0 every week, and that means 1-0 in practice prep, 1-0 in meeting rooms, 1-0 in recovery, and just understanding that, we can do that. And, one thing Coach AG talks about is always having belief in anything, especially in the direction of this team, but belief that we can always win the game no matter where we are. So I just feel like this locker room has definitely adopted that and is definitely bought in on that message.
Pats have won 7 straight. How do you guys get to Drake May in this one?
I don't know. I don't really care too much about the first part. That's their business. But again, it's pass rushers and defensive line. We had a pretty good performance last week, and just building on that, that's not a fluke, and we have to get even better, be more consistent. I know there's quite a few plays that I want back, because it definitely could have been more than what we had, 6 sacks. It definitely could have been more than that. But just definitely reaching our potential in that room, because the best way to get rid of a deep ball threat is to never let it get off. So, we're really excited for that challenge. But they are a physical team and a team that runs the ball well. So just knocking that out first, inviting the pass, and then, like I said, in our room, knocking that out.
What are your thoughts on playing at Foxborough? What's that atmosphere like compared to other opponents' fields, like in Buffalo or wherever?
All I know is it's always cold as hell. So just being tough, it doesn't matter what the weather conditions are, coming out there to kick someone's butt is kind of how our outlook is.
It's something about New England. It's always like 10 degrees colder there, especially compared to New York. All right, so I always ask this of players getting ready for Thursday night. Is there a health hack or like a biohack, something that you use that will get your body ready and recovered and ready to go for kickoff Thursday?
Just rest. Definitely, rest is kind of the most important thing. Just getting your sleep, staying off your feet for sure, and then obviously taking advantage of that training room and getting recovery, cold tub, hot tub, whatever you need, whatever works for you. Getting that, yoga, stretching, body work, whatever that is. Just we got a very friendly schedule right now this week, just allowing us a lot of time to utilize that.
All right, I'll let you go rest and get those things done so you can get ready for Thursday. Thank you so much, Jermaine.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it. All right, great.
All right, that was Jets defensive end Jermaine Johnson sitting down with our Tina Servasio ahead of the big game tonight between the Pats and Jets at 8:15 in Foxborough, and it's on Fox 5. So be sure to watch that. We'll do the news afterwards, after the game. And also today, Tina was able to sit down for a little bit with Adam Schefter, I believe, right? Jennifer Williams was who was able to sit down with Adam Schefter, he's the senior NFL reporter for ESPN, and he's become a big advocate for people suffering from type 1 diabetes, which is something his wife suffers from. Here's a little bit of Jen's convo with Adam Schefter.
This league is the Jets. They got their second win of the season. They're now going to be facing a division-leading Patriots in New England. Again, what should we expect to see there?
Well, New England's one of the surprise stories of the season. The Patriots are back in first place. A lot of people didn't expect this, but Drake May is competing for the MVP award. The Patriots are one of the most surprising teams in the league. They have a chance to host a playoff game again after some dark years in New England. There have been a lot of dark years in New York, but those don't seem to change very often. In New England, it shifted, and it shifted largely because of the presence of the head coach, Mike Vrabel, and the quarterback, Drake May. They've done a great job there.
And what do you think? How do you think the Jets looked after those trades? You know what I mean?
Well, they played some inspired football on Sunday. They got a kick return for a touchdown. They got a punt return for a touchdown. And Jennifer, as a general rule in the National Football League, if you get a punt return and a kick return for a touchdown in the same game, as a general rule, you're going to win the game. And the Jets did what they were supposed to do.
And we talked about like kind of the futures of organizations. How long of a leash does Muji and Aaron Glenn now with all these picks moving forward with this organization?
Well, I just think the Jets have made a statement, and they've said, we're willing to start over here. We're willing to build from the ground up. They just hired the coach. They just hired the general manager, and clearly they're a part of their plans moving forward. How long that leash is, that's hard to answer. All I could say right now is that they're going to be here to make those picks and to see the development of that quarterback through, with the idea that that quarterback can be as good as Drake May is in New England or as good as Jackson Dart has been in New York. They need a quarterback like that to help elevate this franchise. They had it. They had Sam Darnold. They let him go, right? So it's important that they hit on this pick whenever they make it.
Well, he was seeing ghosts when he was with the Jets.
Yeah.
I had someone ask me, someone who, again, I respect, say both these teams are cursed. Both of them, what do you think of that statement?
That's an interesting topic there, Jennifer. What I would say to you is this. Daniel Jones, at one point in time, was successful in New York before they moved on from him. They cut him. Sam Darnold showed glimpses before the Jets cut him. Both have gone on to become two of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League this season. Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, two New York cast-offs. So what is that about? I think that there's something to playing in this market, to playing with the pressure that these organizations and players are under. I think that if you're not mentally strong, not wired the right way, it can help defeat you. And I think it's worked against both franchises. The fans are so passionate and demand so much, as they should, but sometimes that's counterproductive. And in this particular case, there is not a more glaring example of two quarterbacks who've gone on to play at a Pro Bowl level this year that the two New York football teams both released. So both teams had a chance to have really good quarterbacks. Now, the Giants have addressed that with Jackson Dart. They got very fortunate in finding a great young quarterback. Jets are still looking for their answer at quarterback, but they had quarterbacks in their building, in their organization, that have been exactly what you're looking for, and they basically let both go.
Yeah, it's crazy to think the amount of time I've been in New York, the amount of times I'm at a press conference introducing a new head coach. Fans are calling for people's heads as soon as there's
Jennifer, you're feeding it. See, like this must be all your coverage, all the criticism, all the controversy, right? You're feeding into that. You're the reason that Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones aren't here, and these two franchises have been floundering. It's your fault, Jennifer.
Do you think there's something to be said though about then playing with the chip on your shoulder?
Well, of course, I think in life people perform better with chips on their shoulder. Many people are like that. Of course, there's always motivation with that type of thing. But Sam Darnold left New York. I'm sure he had a chip, although like he's such a nice guy. So I don't know that he's like, but there has to be this competitive fire that burns within that wants to prove that the Jets weren't right, that the Giants weren't right, and that they're going to be better than that. And they have been.
We were just talking about how.
All right, fun conversation between Adam Schefter and our own Jen Williams about the big Pats-Jets matchup tonight and all the stress that comes with playing here in New York. Newsroom Live is going to continue in 2 minutes. We'll be right back with Liv Johnson, a look at the weather as well.
That was really great.
All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. I'm joined here by Liv Johnson. We'll chat a little bit about the weather. I like going, look at this, eye to eye.
You're the only person that.
I know, I'm so proud that I'm almost as tall as you. I feel good about this.
Usually I prefer like sitting. That's why I asked you in the beginning.
Yeah, because it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like rude to talk about your height, but we're friends. We can do that. All right, let's talk about the weather. So it wasn't too bad today. It wasn't like freezing out. It was just typical mid-November type deal, right?
It was fine. I actually like over-prepared when I went outside in the morning. I could hear the wind outside, and that's always kind of scary when you can hear it. So I put on like the scarf, the mittens, and then I looked kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. They're like, wow.
All my
She
neighbors
must be
were like
from
in a
Georgia.
light jacket, you know.
Yeah.
But you know what? I wasn't cold.
Good.
Okay, so our satellite radar. Oh, and our future cast. Let's look at that. Yeah, mainly clear skies for us today. That was nice. Tomorrow, it's pretty much the same exact day. A bit more cloudy in the afternoon, and then we're already fast forward to Saturday, where we have some rain.
So that's when the next real issue moves in, Saturday.
Right.
Sometime. This is the 7-day.
Right.
Pretty much where we should be this time of year, I think, right?
The average is 55.
Oh, yeah, we're
so
right on
we're
it.
like a little bit below for most days. But I mean, today we got up to 51. Tomorrow, these numbers need to be tweaked. Tomorrow's 49.
Okay.
But, you know, along those lines. Right now, 47 degrees, partly cloudy. As I said, today, tomorrow's like mostly sunny, but then we have clouds kind of late afternoon, but no rain. So at least your Friday night, you don't have to worry about rain. Just Saturday night, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said like someone who still has plans, not married with kids yet.
Well, Saturday night, I'm working actually.
Oh,
so I don't
all
feel
right.
bad for
Okay,
anyone.
there you
I'll
go.
be here.
You're adulting pretty hard. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to go through some stories that are generating headlines and buzz and whatnot today. We're going to start with the Holiday Cup season at Starbucks. So this is always a thing. The iconic red cup is back. This starts tomorrow, that they're offering a free limited edition reusable red holiday cup when you purchase any handcrafted holiday drink, hot, iced, or blended. Are you hot, iced, or blended in your drink, Liv, of choice?
I'm still doing iced.
You are.
I'm still doing a nice coffee. What about you?
Yeah, I do. I actually start with a cappuccino, then I go to a nice Americano. That's
And
my
what, do
draw.
you make it at home?
No.
You,
I go
do you
out.
not have like an espresso?
I have an espresso, but I'm sick of it. Now that Autumn's out and goes to school at 8 in the
Right.
morning, I have like all this freedom before work.
Right.
So I like going to my local coffee
You know,
shop.
I agree though. It's like something to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, people are like, oh, it's a waste of money, but it's
Everything's
not
a waste
so
of money.
much. Yeah, it's
Totally.
like, well,
It's
there's
like,
worse things I could be doing.
I've
with
blown
my
15
money.
on worse.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right, for sure. All right. Here's our second story of the night. Most popular NYC pet names. Oh, we like this one. All right. So, parents have
What?
spoken. Oh, that's like
Oh,
pet
parents.
parents. Oh, yeah. I got to work that one in all the time. All right. These are the favorite dog and cat names. According to Rover's 2025 pet name report, Luna tops both lists as the city's most popular name for dogs and cats. For dogs, the rest of the top 5 are Charlie, Bella, Milo, and Coco. For cats, Milo, Leo, Charlie, and Lily round out the list.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I'm not unoriginal. My dog is Milo.
You have a Milo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not. But you know what? It makes sense for cats because Milo and Otis. A lot of people. The cat
that-
was Milo.
Okay, that's a cartoon. That's a
Yeah.
very cute.
No, not a cartoon.
It's not?
No.
It was a real
You've
show?
not seen it?
No.
It's a movie.
Oh.
The cat and dog Milo and Otis.
Yeah.
And there's a point where like a cat gets pushed off into like a waterfall.
Oh God, that's what we don't show Autumn all these like Disney old, the movies where you cry
Yeah,
at the end. We're
yeah.
like, we're skipping that whole thing. The Fox and the Hound, the Lady, we're not doing any
my
of
gosh,
it.
yes.
Just want to keep it light, keep her
Bambi.
Yeah,
and-
keep our innocence alive as long as possible. All right, and then the final story here, NYC neighborhoods with the best real estate deals. Street Easy's October market report is out, and it highlights the 10 neighborhoods where buyers are getting the best deals. Leading the list, the FIDI, the financial district, homes sold for about 96% of ask. That's a 4% discount with a median sale price of $1.15 million. Other areas where some deals could be found, Bed-Stuy, Chelsea, Bay Ridge, and Midtown East. An eclectic group of neighborhoods there.
Yeah. I feel like Harlem is kind of building up there.
Yeah.
And like nice, more kind of luxurious apartment buildings.
Yeah,
so I'm
Central
surprised
Park
that's
North
not on the.
is the joke up there. That's what
Yeah.
they call it, right? Yeah,
Right.
It's definitely.
That's interesting. I can see
upcoming neighborhood.
FIDI, but also like, ooh, a 4% discount, like.
I know, at 1.15
And everything's
million,
still-
that's like whatever. Yeah,
right.
we're using deal very liberally here
Right.
in this account. But all right, that's the deal there. Liv, we appreciate it. Thanks so
Thanks,
much for
Steve.
joining us for a few minutes of Newsroom Live. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
3 minutes of bites, and then you'll have
Yeah.
benefits back.
Yeah.
Mike's hot.
All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. Sort of a fun story today. People talking about the people they encounter on the roads driving in the tri-state. We know how brutal that can be. New Jerseyans say New York drivers are the worst, but they're not letting themselves off the hook either. They say Jersey drivers ain't so great either. They rank themselves in third in a new poll. So this has sort of sparked a fun conversation about who are the worst drivers on the roads that you run into on a regular basis and why. We actually were able to take this one to the streets, and here is what some drivers we spoke to earlier today had to say about it.
Telling you about the poll, and you mentioned you already saw it.
Yes, I already saw it, that New Jersey said that New York drivers are the worst.
And your response to it as a New Jersey driver, what do you think? Is it legit?
I would say that the taxi New York drivers are definitely the worst. Some of the other New York drivers are not bad.
Okay, so why the taxi drivers?
Well,
What
they're
has happened? What happened?
When they're here in Jersey, left lane going 50, not good. If you're not going 80, get out of the left lane. You know?
So too slow.
Too slow, yeah, too slow. They use both feet, so they're braking and going at the same time, so you don't know what's going on. So kind of confusing, causing accidents.
They're very aggressive, I think, especially taxi drivers.
Too aggressive for you?
Yeah, for me, yeah, especially I live in South Jersey, so.
Okay. So what's one experience you had with a New York driver that was like, okay, this is a bit much?
I mean, they cut you off a lot. They are in a rush all the time. I don't know why, even if it's Sunday. And yeah, that's mostly easy to recognize as a New York driver.
Do you try to avoid them?
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Do you think New Jersey drivers are any better though?
Oh yeah, well, definitely.
A lot better?
Laid back, we are not in a rush as much.
You sure?
I think so, yeah.
They gotta make the test a little more harder. I'm serious. Some drivers just...
They don't belong out there.
Yes. They turn when they want to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you drive next to somebody and they just turn, put their signal on it and turn, that's not driving. You have to look behind you, make sure you're clear.
Okay.
You know, a lot of drivers don't do that.
So no consideration for other drivers.
Respect.
They honk the horns a lot. I don't know if they follow all the traffic signs, and usually some explicits that come out the window. But I say that New York is a melting pot of people, and my experience might not be everyone else's experience. So I like to think that, we have buses, great transportation, so hopefully other drivers are not like the ones I experienced.
Ironically, New Jersey's ranked themselves second worst.
Oh, really?
Do you?
Well, I think because we're so close. And the majority of the people on the road are New Jersey, New York drivers. There's a little competition there, I would say.
Okay,
you don't
like
let
an
me
inherited.
in, I don't let you in kind of deal, yeah. Which is why I leave early. I go to work early. I leave early to go home, so I miss all of that because I don't want to deal with nobody. I just want to go home.
This is a motor vehicle you're driving. This is an engine. It will put you down.
Okay.
All right? I just was in an accident. Yes, somebody slammed into the back of me.
In New York or New Jersey?
In New York.
When you be in New York, you change the system. When you're in New Jersey, you change the system.
Have it. No shortage of opinions on New York, New Jersey, who's the worst. That seemed to be a heavily New Jersey sample of people, so obviously they had one perspective. It's tough out there regardless. We do know that for sure. You got to be alert at all times when you are behind the wheel in the tri-state. Each state has its own less than desirable characteristics behind the wheel. All right, 10 minutes before 8, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back with more Newsroom Live. All right. Welcome back to Newsroom Live. The latest victim of inflation is the penny. The Treasury announcing they're going to stop making the penny. It costs almost 4 cents per penny given the metals involved. So obviously that is the end of an era. When I was a kid, you used to be able to get a piece of Fortune bubble gum for a penny, penny candy shops. That was definitely a thing, but that's getting on, though. That was a while ago, not going to lie. I won't give you the exact dates, but you get my point. All right, so Richard Giacobis gives us the obit for the once mighty penny.
1800s, when the term penny pincher was first used. Then there was the penny arcade. Oh, and those penny slots. The penny loafers, too. All of that derived from what was once a staple of American currency, the copper penny, now made of copper-plated zinc for the past 4+ decades. Do you carry any pennies?
No.
No?
No, never. I don't think I've had cash in like 3 years.
Well, here's more than a penny for your thoughts. The U.S. Mint on Wednesday pressed its last penny 1 year after Congress passed the Coinage Act, citing rising production costs and the digital age. Some call it senseless.
I kind of would miss it. The 1960s, 50s, 40s, 1800s had more work.
But then there are those who believe this is more than sensible.
It's about time. I don't even know why we have change anymore.
And it doesn't matter what era you're from, or in this case, still living in. These days, just about everything will cost you a pretty penny. But nonetheless, pocket change seems to be going by the wayside.
It's annoying, and you pay a little more, it just keeps showing up. You got to dig or you're leaving. I'm fine without the pennies. Round it up.
You have a penny.
I do have a penny.
Wow, we found, are you a millennial?
No, I'm Gen Z cusp.
I found a Gen Zer with a penny. That's almost impossible. The U.S. Mint says the pennies will still be in circulation, and sometimes it's best to embrace change.
What's next? Maybe the nickel's next to go.
It's like a staple. Like, what are you going to throw into the fountain right over there for the good luck?
That's just what I was thinking. But it's going to cost you a lot more when you're throwing something into the fountain these days. But maybe I have a penny. Let's see. No. No. Who am I kidding? I don't carry any currency, but I can recycle one. Here we go. One last time. To good health and good luck. That was fun. We're in Bryant Park. Richard Giacobis, Fox 5 News.
Rules, Richard. I don't know if you can reuse the change in the fountain at Bryant Park. We will see. Hopefully you have good luck. All right, let's go to one more sort of interesting story, to the lengths we're going to get clicks and views these days. My God, we're losing our mind here. Did you see this earlier on Kicking and Screaming? Lou and Bianca got tattoos live on air. This is wild. He's a Mets fan, for God's sake. They got a famous tattoo artist. This guy's named Keith Hernandez, not the famous Met. Looks like he got a little heart there. And then Bianca got a Yankees tattoo on her leg. The fans were voting on Instagram. They're going to go much more in depth on this. Lou's going to join Sharon in the next hour of Newsroom Live. But boy, if this isn't entertainment, I don't know what is. More on that. That happened live in the studios just a few hours ago here today. All for your enjoyment. It doesn't cost a penny. Boy, you got to love streaming. All right, Newsroom Live will be right back in 2 minutes.
There it is.
Came out great. You guys over here. I think that's mine.
And then the arm. It's not bad.
It's cute.
And then let me get.
Really good.
All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. We're about to do the handoff to my colleague right here, Sharon Crowley, picking up for the second hour. But we do have some breaking news, Sharon.
Oh, I can hardly
Right
wait, Steve.
into the
I've
Fox
been
5
following
newsroom.
along on the YouTube, the Fox
right.
Local app and YouTube channel
There
at
you
Fox
go.
5
You've been
NY.
indoctrinated properly.
Yes.
Anyway, big Yankees news. Aaron Judge, the MVP this year, AL MVP, coming off a big-time season. He batted .331, 53 homers, 114 RBI. So a big and well-deserved award for Yankee slugger Aaron Judge.
Wow,
A nice way
congrats.
to end. Yeah, congrats to him. That's big-time stuff. Next year we get the World Series, hopefully.
All right,
Knock
that would
wood.
be awesome.
All right,
awesome.
Sharon.
All right, thank you. Goodbye. Wave goodbye, Steve. The camera's right back there. All right, good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for joining Newsroom Live. I'm Sharon Crowley reporting to you from the Fox 5 Newsroom. We like to give you a behind-the-scenes look. And Brian Kay is our operator this evening. And Brendan, you want to wave? A little handshake. You want to do a 360 or what's your feeling? Not yet?
No.
Not yet. Listen, the government is finally reopened. We've been telling you about this for weeks and weeks now. We can finally celebrate that people went back to work today. Let's take a live look in Washington, D.C. tonight of the U.S. Capitol. Do you see it up there? No, we just have the White House. It's on Live View 7.
Today.
Okay, today's good. Guess what? It's pretty quiet there because the lawmakers have all gone home. They have finally, at least for now, from what we understand, at least for now, they have reopened the government. But it's been a lot of questions about whether those airport delays have settled in. And guess what? Not so much. Arlinda Schmidt was reporting on that today. And we have a little video from the airports, Brian, to show our viewers now. You know, it's a little bit of a mess there still. We can expect, though, over the course of the next few weeks for things to pick up. And I should tell you that there it is. There's the airline. Still lines, still people trying to get to their destination. Federal workers also returned to work today. And we have some sound from IRS workers. You probably never thought you'd hear an IRS tax collector be happy after they've been furloughed to return to work. Brian, I think we have a little sound from them as well.
From whom?
They are called Federal Workers Return to Work. You're looking APTN? All right, well, that's okay.
Sorry, I'm not seeing it yet.
Okay, I'm sure it's in there. Don't worry about it. Let me just tell you what they said. They were happy about it. Right now, though, I'm going to bring in political analyst David Birdsell since we're talking all things government reopening. Finally, David, after you and I have been talking forever, we appreciate you joining us again this evening because when we talked at this time last night, we were still waiting on lawmakers to make a move. Do we have sound? No sound.
Oh, yeah.
Trying. Check. Oh, hold on, David. Technical difficulties. That's what happens in a live streaming newscast. Do you have the audio now? You do? All right. Okay, David, you could. Oh, we just lost him again. Sorry. It's the handoff, or it's Aaron Judge. I don't know. What is it? Do we have audio now?
Good to go?
Oh, yes. Here we hear you. Thanks, David. So, David,
Okay.
what do you think finally prompted lawmakers to reopen the government?
Well, remember, this was 8 Democrats breaking from the rest of their party to the considerable distress of their colleagues, and particularly the minority leader, Chuck Schumer, who gave really a kind of heartfelt denunciation of his colleagues for doing what they did, or at least denunciation of the action that they took. But what these 8 said, more or less, they said slightly different things, but it all boiled down to, we know that we don't have the votes to force any change in the way that health insurance subsidies are provided by the federal administration. So why are we putting the rest of the country through this torture? What they succeeded in doing is elevating the visibility of healthcare subsidies and exactly how much more people are going to be paying who relied on those subsidies to keep their health insurance affordable on the Affordable Care Act exchanges. And this is largely affecting people who have sole proprietorships, think real estate agents, think small business owners, think people who aren't part of large corporations who have those buying pools that allow them to provide health insurance at reduced rate on the private market. So that's where the public market stepped in under Obamacare, and that's what was subsidized starting under Joe Biden during the pandemic. And that's what expired or expires on January 1st, the notices of those expirations came out on November 1st, so people could see the sticker shock and exactly how much more they're going to be paying.
Yeah, I'm certainly and grave concerned about that, especially as the cost of so many things people are concerned about. So who's going to get the blame, would you say? Democrats or Republicans or both?
Well, let's be very clear that Democrats caused the shutdown by not voting for the continuing resolution. You could argue about who caused it, the Republicans by advancing an extreme spending bill that cut what was really core in many Democrats' eyes, or Democrats for not going along with it, knowing that the result was going to be the government shutdown. What there is no doubt after this episode is that Republicans will shoulder the blame for causing those health costs to rise. Democrats may get from some short-term blame in terms of all the inconveniences of the pandemic. I've experienced some myself with my inability to do routine business with federal offices. Anybody who's wanted to get a passport or renew one, tough luck for the last 5 weeks. But long haul, it's going to be about healthcare, and I think they very successfully escalated that issue. And it is very important for obvious reasons. We're talking 24 million Americans reliant on those exchanges, and a large number of them, perhaps a majority, will wind up dropping. Last point on this, Sharon, as we polled, as pollsters took the temperature of the public throughout, there were two things that were notable. One is that more people blamed the Republicans by a very narrow margin than the Democrats for the circumstance. Number two is that for the first time since January of this year, January 20th, when President Trump took office, his poll numbers dipped briefly below 40% and have risen back to right about 40. He had been at an extraordinarily stable 43% approval rating from his base, and this appears to have hit some folks in the base, whether it was the subsidies or the food stamp, the loss of food stamp support during the shutdown, hard to tell.
So, David, I wanted to ask you, we did hear from some reporting earlier today that there are some TSA officers who are going to get a $10,000 bonus because they stuck it out, and even though they weren't getting paid, they were going to go back to work, and about 70% will get back to pay within 2 days. This obviously the Trump administration and the Secretary of Transportation Duffy trying to get some goodwill among these employees and try to get them back on the job in force, especially as we get so close to the Thanksgiving holiday.
Absolutely. There isn't much time left. And air traffic was a mess before the shutdown. We had serious constraints in terms of the supply of air traffic control personnel. We're thinking about the people who sit up in towers and at nondescript transportation centers all around the country, linking flights to each adjacent airspace. And those folks are critical for your safety. They're the ones who track the planes, make sure that the planes stay far enough apart from one another and consistently convey that information to people in the control towers. We haven't had enough of them. We really haven't had enough of them since the PATCO strike in the 1980s during the Reagan administration, when that union was effectively broken and never really restored to its full complement of air traffic controllers. So getting those folks back in is still going to leave us with a shortage of workers. So it's very, very important to keep the ones we have. And what's happened in the wake of that ATC, the air traffic control cutback, has been airlines making decisions to reroute their flights, and that leaves plane crews in different places. And it can take a matter of days to get those plane crews back in place so that you have people who can legitimately fly and won't exceed the number of hours they're allowed to spend in the air.
Yeah, very interesting. Before I let you go, David, I want to talk to you a little bit about the SNAP benefits. We did so many stories on this. Governor Hochul even decided, to make sure that everyone in New York, the 3 million or so that rely on the food assistance program, would, whether or not the government was going to be reopened, would get those SNAP benefits. But there had been delays. Trump administration only partially funding them. Now it looks like everyone within the next few days or so are going to be back. How tough is that, politically speaking, on the Trump administration to have all the neediest among us suffering in this way?
Well, Two things. One is that it doesn't look good for the administration, particularly in the optics of tax cuts for very wealthy people. The president's spending a lot of time with very wealthy people, tearing down the East Wing of the White House to build a gilded, literally a gilded ballroom on that space. These are not things that express a great deal of empathy with the suffering of large members of the public, a large percentage of the public. It's 42 million people. It's really huge. It's about 13% of Americans who are reliant on food stamps. A disproportionate number of them, by the way, not voters, but children. But that's a point of sympathy for many people who are inclined to care about the lower end of the economic spectrum in any case, which should be all of us, but not all the time appears to be. But beyond that, the question comes, the president has tried to argue that this is all, in his language, a Democrat program. That's not true. There are many, many Republican voters who find themselves in economic arrears, reliant on food stamps. It's probably a majority of Democrats making use of this program. That's probably true. Again, a majority is actually children. But of the adult users of food stamp benefits, those are the SNAP benefits, used to be called food stamps, they are probably Democrats, but by a relatively narrow margin. And that's an important thing to keep in mind as we look at rural poverty, as we look at small town America, as we look at SNAP uptake in the Midwest. And that's going to resonate. And I think that may be part of the reason why you've seen those core support numbers dwindle in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see how that plays out in the midterms, but people's memories are pretty short. I want to ask you about Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. He's in the doghouse, even by some in his own party that seem to be calling for him for his ouster. They're upset, describing him as caving. You know, we heard from voices, even Senator Booker and Representative Ocasio-Cortez, stopped short of calling him out. But there does seem to be a movement from the more liberal side of the Democratic Party. Is Schumer in jeopardy?
He may be. There are a number of people who are eyeing Senate seats who are now either in the House or in some other elective office, or there's actually an oysterman in Maine who doesn't have any elective office at all, who would like Susan Collins' seat. And they're all saying, no, Chuck Schumer, we're not going to support him. But we heard this when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, and she was handily returned to that office. I don't know if it's going to put him in jeopardy. But if we look at the demographics, if we look at the age dynamics, Chuck Schumer is in his 80s. The people who are clamoring to take the Democratic Party left are largely in their 40s or 30s, and sometimes in their 20s. If we look this won't matter in the Senate because you can't be in the Senate in your 20s. But if we look at people who are running for offices in the House right now, you have some people who are very young, the recently elected mayor of Seattle. I mean, Zoran Mamdani, who's 34, not in his 20s, but a very much younger demographic. And they're less patient with the politics of the past, who are amply represented by Chuck Schumer. But at the same time, let's look at what the senior senator from New York has had to deal with. He's in the minority. You don't have the votes. And this notion that if you hold out long enough, the majority will cave. This is somewhat magical thinking. There are a number of people who have given plausible reasons why they might have caved, but the history is clear. There are 0 occasions in which the people who have foisted a shutdown on the majority have won what they wanted to win, because the majority is the majority. And that's what the minority leader has had to face up to. And a lot of this criticism is really frustration with continued minority status for Senate Democrats.
David Birdsell, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope to talk to you again very soon here. It's always a pleasure to dissect whatever's coming down the pike for us. Are you looking ahead to see how long the ramifications of this 40-day plus shutdown are going to be lasting?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's huge. Do remember that the continuing resolution that was passed only funds most of the government through the 30th of January. So we could be right back here shortly after proceeding into the new year. I'm somewhat skeptical that the Democrats are going to do this again, but they have elevated the health care question. They have elevated the importance of of SNAP benefits, food stamps, as we used to call it. And those are going to be key campaign themes going into the midterms, which at this point are just 50 weeks away.
All right, David Birdsell, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And keep it right here because we have a lot going on tonight, so much to tell you about, as well as why New Jersey lawmakers tell us now they want to get rid of daylight savings. They've had enough. So we'll hear what New Jersey residents think about that and some lawmakers from New Jersey. And we'd also like to hear from you on our YouTube channel. Brendan is monitoring the chat right off to my left here. So any of your comments or questions, he's going to be reading for us. And letting me know what you think, and we will try to, answer anything you need to know. We'll be back after a very short break in just 2 minutes. All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. You're looking at a live picture of the Fox 5 newsroom as we get ready for the Fox 5 10 o'clock news, which you can watch after the football game tonight. And we're going to have, there it is, there's Brian, there's me. Hi, hello. And there's Brendan. He's reading your comments and questions and chat on our YouTube channel because we're streaming on the Fox Local app and the Fox 5 NY YouTube channel. Thank you again for joining us. So we're talking about daylight savings. Well, New Jersey, Hawaii, and Arizona do not observe daylight savings. They do not fall back or spring ahead. They just say the same time all year long. Well, guess what? Lawmakers in New Jersey have just pushed a bill out of committee that would do the same thing in New Jersey. Of course, that would need federal approval, and there's a bill in the federal government, but like so many things on Capitol Hill, it stalled a few years back and really hasn't been brought up again since. But I talked with a state senator, the Senate Pro Tem from New Jersey, about this issue and why she thinks it's time for daylight savings to go. Here's what she had to say.
So I want to ask you, first of all, tell us about what just passed, a bill that you sponsored to end daylight savings. Tell us what that means and why you did it.
Okay. It passed out of the Transportation Committee on Monday, and it was passed unanimously in a bipartisan way, which is usually unheard of these days with Democrats and Republicans agreeing on anything. But everybody seems to agree that it makes no sense to continue changing our clocks back and forth twice a year. We have so many other things that we can be doing. And it's not just that it's frustrating, annoying, it's antiquated. We should lock the clock in one position once and for all so that people will not have their sleep patterns interrupted. And we will see fewer accidents because of the time changes, and also the seasonal depression that comes with the changing of the clocks. We We fall back for 4 months in November, and then we change our clocks in March for the spring for 8 months. So let's just lock the clock in the daylight savings time motion so that we can continue with our lives and not have to worry about our internal clocks and adjusting our sleep patterns and seeing how this affects our morale. Because usually with more light, people have better spirits. And we know too that statistics show that during the change of the time, we have more car accidents and more pedestrians are injured as a result of being on the road walking and people can't see them.
All right, that was State Senator Shirley Turner talking to me earlier today about their effort in the Assembly. It's going to the Assembly next, a bill to end daylight savings in New Jersey. She said, of course, more light, you have better spirits, and so she's over it. She wants to end daylight savings, but as I pointed out, even if the new governor-elect signs that into law, Mikey Sherrill, it would have to go, the federal government has the ultimate say, and there is a bill in Capitol Hill that was brought there in 2022, and it's stalled. So unclear if there's an appetite for this. There's so much going on in the country, but you just never know. And I'm not sure how President Trump feels about this. Usually we find out on Truth Social. So if I find out during this broadcast, I'll be sure to let you know. But here's what New Jersey residents think about it. We also were out there on the street today. And of course, New Jerseyans, they don't hold back. No one is very shy when we put the microphone in front of their face.
It's a little depressing when it gets dark early. It's nice, keep the sun out as long as we can and enjoy it. It feels like midnight at 5 p.m.
I have mixed feelings about it. Depends. I like getting up when it's lighter out, and I think it depends what time you have to get up to start your day.
I guess it's a good idea if we're completely getting rid of it because it makes no sense. It's exhausting. I don't like it.
I like a little more daylight than darkness.
Who doesn't like a little more daylight than darkness, right? So anyway, we'll keep you posted if the bill makes it to the Assembly and gets signed into law. We'll find out in the next few weeks how that does and whether it inspires the leaders on the federal level to take notice and push that bill in Washington forward first. So we have a lot more going on for you tonight. And again, we want your comments and questions from the YouTube. Brendan is over there. He's working hard, reading everything you say. And so if you have anything you'd like to know or you want to weigh in on what we're talking about or what you want to hear about, of course, we're going to bring it to you in real time. And one of the things I wanted to point out to you, you're looking at all the screens that we're monitoring for you. Last night we were super busy because there were live events going on, especially in Washington, as lawmakers were preparing to vote to reopen the government. And we also heard last night from President Trump. So all of these monitors have different things going on, both here in the New York City area, New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, and then across the country as well. So we're monitoring developments for you. And Brian Kay is our operator tonight. So keep it right here. We're going to take a very short break. And when we come back, we're going to round robin our headlines and we're going to talk to Liv Johnson. She's giving us the very latest on the weather forecast coming up this weekend. Keep it here. And welcome back to Newsroom Live. You're looking at a live picture in New York City tonight. And this is our newsroom on the Upper East Side of New York City. I'm Sharon Crowley along with Brian and Brendan and our entire news team as we get ready for the 10 o'clock news, which tonight might be on Channel 5 a little bit later than 10 because we have a really important football game going on tonight. And we have an update with our sports director extraordinaire, Lou Albanese, coming up in just a few minutes. You're definitely going to want to stick around for that. And we also have an update on our weekend forecast coming up too in just a couple of minutes. But let's talk about some of our local headlines here right now. We have Richard Giacobbe is out there live tonight, and he'll have a report for us on this story as well. Truly a tragedy. The cause of death is not determined, but in Flatbush, Brooklyn, we'll let you take a look. This man, a superintendent, was killed after a fight with someone over stolen packages, allegedly stolen packages. He's a father. He has family members, and police are still trying to figure out the exact cause of death. But tenants who live in the building are devastated. This is somebody they knew well. He came from Kosovo, and it was really upsetting to them. And of course, obviously, his family member. We spoke with his brother. Our Lisa Evers was out there earlier today. Here's what his brother had to say.
He was a very helpful person. People, when they call him in the nighttime, 8, 9 o'clock, for problems or maintenance issues, he never refused. He always go. He was eating one time. We were here. We were eating and drinking together, a tea. He said, "Let me go. I want to go help this old lady or young person or whatever, new tenant. I just want to go and help."
All right. Yeah, well, we'll be following that story for you and should have an update for you after the ball game tonight right here on Channel 5. Truly a tragic story. There's some other things happening. Mayor-elect Mamdani, we're watching very closely as he prepares his transition team. Today, he met with Governor Hochul to talk all things politics and policies that he is working on. Some 50,000 people have applied for jobs in his administration, and he's tapped some people from the de Blasio camp to help him in his transition. He has a tall order to try to fill, as you all know. He promised free buses, free daycare, to tax the wealthiest New Yorkers, and also, generally policies that align with the Democratic Socialists here in New York City. So people have been watching what he says and how he does it very closely, and we are going to be doing that as well. And the good news I have to tell you about is that tomorrow, right here on Fox 5, the mayor-elect is going to be joining our team, where Morgan McKay has a one-on-one interview scheduled with him for tomorrow morning, and that's going to run on Politics Unusual. And then, of course, we will have it streaming live for us tomorrow night. We have a lot of questions for him about what authorities the mayor-elect does have to implement some of his policies and some of his more controversial policies. And we'll see all about that, and that's tomorrow night. So we hope you will join us then for that. But right now, we're going to update a couple more things. The federal workers, I promise, Brian found it for us. These are the, oh, you didn't? No? It's still in hiding. All right, I promise you, they seem to be happy to come back to work. But we also have a couple of other stories, and I'm going to check with Brendan. What do you got? Any comments from our YouTube listeners and watchers? Well, you can just type it in, as long as it's nice and polite. That's all. That's the only thing we ask for. All right, well, we're going to be right back after a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get a weather forecast from Liv Johnson. I'm looking forward to it. And welcome back to Newsroom Live. We're taking you behind the scenes. You get to see how we make a newscast, or attempt to anyway, and all those screens are what we are covering all over the city, all over the viewing area. But right now I'm going to take you back quickly to Washington, D.C., to the U.S. Capitol. We finally found those furloughed workers because the government has reopened. Our major headline, of course, today. Airlines not quite back to normal, unfortunately, but they should be. But those SNAP benefits should be coming. Those debit cards should be loading up in the next couple of days. They're already here in New York for the 3 million New Yorkers who need food assistance. So things getting back to normal, and we hope it stays that way. We hope they didn't just kick the can down the road to have another problem come January in terms of a shutdown. We hope they can figure out how to fix the Affordable Care Act, and that Democrats and Republicans, if you're listening, can finally work together. But let's hear from those furloughed workers. Brian found them hidden somewhere, and here's what they had to say about coming back to work today.
I'm excited. I enjoy what I do, so it's good to get back. Like I said, I enjoyed the time off, but I enjoy what I do, so it's good to get back and start working on some of my some new projects and some old projects that I started. A lot of people's lives are impacted by the decisions or lack of decisions sometimes. So stressful, but also theatrical.
All right, so there you hear it. That, as promised, your furloughed federal workers finally back on the job, and we're happy to hear it. Especially happy that the air traffic controllers are all getting paid again as we get so close to the Thanksgiving holiday. But I have a special guest joining me now. Liv Johnson is here with the forecast. All right, are we going to wave? Then we wave to the wave cam. That's the wave cam.
I don't like seeing my hair.
You don't like seeing your hair? No, it looks good.
From the back.
That looks good. She's just miking up. We like to bring our viewers into the process here. Liv, it's a little mild. I know you haven't gotten out. You haven't gotten a dinner break yet because we don't want you to take a break. We just want you to be on
I'm going to stay
constantly.
very skinny.
Yes, yes. So tell us, Liv, what are we looking at as we head into the weekend?
Okay, so as you said, it's kind of mild. It's not as cold as it has been. It's not like
we can
feeling,
take a live picture outside.
Yeah,
right?
as much like winter. Still breezy. Today was windy. Yesterday was windy. Tomorrow will be windy. But it's not going to be as bad tomorrow as it was today.
There it is. There's a shot outside right there, Radio City Music Hall.
Right,
Nice.
and the flags are always they give us a good picture of how strong the winds are right now, which they've been calming down just a little bit. But still, like I said, Friday's breezy. Honestly, it's like an exact replica of today. Sun and clouds, windy, very similar temperature-wise. Then this is all the way sped up to Saturday, too. So we don't have to worry about anything until Saturday evening. You can see showers starting around 7 to 8 p.m. And then staying through Sunday morning. These temperatures are a little off because it's a different system. But, but they're close enough. Like low 50s, upper 40s for the most part throughout the tri-state.
Good for being outside during the daytime, but at night, I think you told me, right?
Yes.
It's getting a little damp, perhaps?
Right. Saturday night into Sunday morning, but then Sunday's a high of 59.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. And the sun will come back out.
All right.
So we just have to worry about wind tomorrow, rain Saturday night.
All right. Well, you know, what are you going to do? Listen, don't go anywhere because I know you've been there. Have you been to, I know you're a little bit new to New York City. Have you been to the holiday market in Union Square yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, our Teresa Priolo went to the holiday market in Union Square, and she's giving us a sneak peek. And hold on, let me see if Brian has it up yet. If you don't, no, he's looking for it. It's okay. And that's just how it is sometimes. You know, it's Steve Lacy, you know, talking about Aaron Judge. You know, I think that's what just put a jinx in the system. But that's okay. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to bring you to the holiday market. But there's one other thing we're going to do that you're going to want to stick around for. Lou Albanese, as promised, did get a tattoo with Bianca Peters today. And we're going to hear and see probably more than you want to coming right up. So keep it here. I know you're going to have to stick around, Liv. Keep it right here. and welcome back to Newsroom Live. My team is growing here. You can see Nadine has joined us. She's going to try to hide. There you are. She's an editor extraordinaire here. And, you know, this shot brings to mind something. When I first started my career, I was 23 years old. And I was trying to line produce a show. And when I would come, and I wasn't very good at math, and that'll come back to play here this evening when it comes to taking breaks. And so when I would come into the control room, the entire staff, which is about double what you see right now, they would say, uh-oh, here she comes, put your crash helmets on, because that is generally what happened. I either over-calculated or under-calculated. So I'm going to try not to do that tonight, but there are no promises. One of the happiest times of the year here in New York City, of course, we all know, is when we get ready for the holiday season. And even though we haven't had Thanksgiving yet, the Union Square Holiday Market has opened. And our Teresa Priolo took it all in today. Here she is.
A lot of people think that the holiday season begins when Santa Claus ends the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I dare say it begins when the holiday market opens. You can find almost anything you can dream of here at the Union Square Holiday Market, from jewelry that is handmade, really cool old New York City maps, even little trinkets made out of different kinds of wires and metals. These are the kinds of gifts that, frankly, when you give to somebody, they say, "Where did you get that? How can I get one?" I think you would also find that if you gave somebody one of these pieces of clothing, they would say, "Where did you get that? I want one." Let me introduce you to Belkis. She is the owner of Berikisu. Yes. Thanks for being with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Such cool designs. Tell us a little bit about where you got this fabric and where you got the inspiration for it.
So I source my fabrics from Senegal as well as Mali, and my inspo for this is just these really beautiful vintage indigo mud cloth that is usually used for interior design, but I wanted to pull it into apparel.
You have a background in fashion, you were telling me, and you've even worked with some of the biggest fashion brands.
Absolutely.
And now you're bringing that kind of style and expertise to this.
Exactly. So I started out my career with Ralph Lauren and then moved on to other brands, but I just love menswear and really great construction. So I said, why not pair it with really beautiful textiles that we could give new life to?
What does it mean to be here at the market? Does it help people get to know your brand?
I believe so. I think it's a great way for us to introduce ourselves to like a huge audience that we wouldn't normally have as a small business. And this is really the best way to do it. They get to try on our items in person, be able to touch it, feel it, and experience it.
All right, I'm going to move on to go eat because there's more to see here. Thank you, Belkis. We appreciate it. All right, come and take a walk with me where you will see so many cool things. We're going to go up these stairs here. We're going to go on a little journey, but you'll be able to see everything as we go. Here you have different designs from Turkey. I'm told handmade in Turkey and shipped here to the U.S. You have really cool pictures of books with quotes on top of them as well. We've got candles. We have hot chocolate over here from Brooklyn. And now let me take you over here to Angry Archie's. Where is my girl, Nancy? Come on over. Hey, how are you? This is Nancy Corrado. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
You guys are one of the OGs, as I understand it, in terms of being here at the market and bringing your food here.
Yes, this is our second year with Urban Spaces. We were in Herald Square last year, so our first year with Union Square, and we're very excited to be here. Our 10th year in business. We started in 2015, and we have some fantastic, unique items to the market this year.
Can we see some of them or try some of them?
Absolutely.
They're going to run me out of time before I get to stuff my face, but I want to be able to tell everybody.
So just for Union Square this year, we have our truffle lobster mac and cheese. This is Maine lobster with our 4-cheese mac and cheese and black truffle shavings. Very decadent and comforting for the holiday season.
And poutine? Is this
And our lobster poutine is also unique to the market this year. It's fries with our seafood bechamel, Maine lobster, and our garlic aioli on top.
All right, so you can find all of this here at the holiday market. They are open until Christmas Eve, about 11 a.m. as I understand it, to like roughly 8 or 9. They're not here on Thanksgiving because everybody needs a holiday. Come on out and enjoy. And by the way, guys, this is Creator Night, so I've seen more people walking around with lights as bright as ours. You're going to be seeing this all over your social media feeds, of course. But there's really so much here. It's the greatest place to find a gift and eat some good food.
Awesome. I want to check that out. I have not been down there. It just opened today, so hopefully in the next few weeks I'll get my way down there. As promised, you heard about it last night, but now you're going to see it in person. A very special guest joining me in just 2 minutes to tell me all about getting a tattoo on live television. And there he is, Lou Albanese. Okay, people, it looks like it hurt. It looks like it hurt, Lou. Well, we're going to find out. Keep it right here. We're going to take a quick break, and then you're going to hear all things sports as well, not just Ted. There's Bianca. She's even braver. Does she have tattoos? Oh, my goodness. All right, don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're looking at a live picture of the Fox 5 newsroom here on the Upper East Side. Great minds hard at work preparing your Fox 5 newscast. That was our executive producer, our assignment editor, and I'm Sharon Crowley. Thanks for joining us. I have Lou Albanese with us. He's about to do a big reveal.
Oh, big reveal.
Big reveal.
Big reveal for the first
Welcome
time.
back.
Look at that. There it is. My first
All
ever
right,
tattoo.
Show us your gun.
There we go. My first ever tattoo.
Okay, might I ask some questions about
Sure,
that?
you go
What
right ahead.
exactly? We just couldn't hold it. We have to talk about this right away. What is that? I see a
I have no
heart
idea.
and I see.
No, it's a good question. We were supposed to do the Yankees.
Okay, well, those are
and
pinstripes.
Those are pinstripes. That's the whole idea. A little heart and the pinstripes. He knew that I was a Met fan.
Okay.
His name, believe it or not, the tattoo artist, Keith Hernandez. So for
Ah.
all Met fans, they know what that name is. In
I'm
fact, he
sure
was
they
named
do.
after Keith Hernandez. So he knew I was a Met fan, so he wasn't going to put Yankees and NY.
Okay.
He took care of me. That's what he did. So that's what we did.
So did it hurt, though, is
No.
the bigger question.
No, it did not.
No?
And I said that live.
Uh-oh,
was-
Adesia
I
has
was
the
really-
zoom in. She's got
I
the
was
zoom in. Put the
really-
guns up
I
there.
gotta put my arm
There
on.
you
There
go.
you go.
All
Look at that.
right.
See, pinstripes. That's what that is.
And it didn't
And a little
hurt?
hard because they look. No, it didn't hurt. I was surprised. They say when it comes to tattoo artists, and this guy was telling us, I'm going to pull it down right now. What he said was, there's different type of tattoo artists. Some guys go soft, some guys go hard. If you push down hard, you got the wrong tattoo artist, you're going to feel pain. This
Okay.
guy had the softest hands. It was nicely done. It felt like just like a little bit of a rub, but no, it did not hurt at all.
So you were not alone. We see the
No, I
lovely
was not
Bianca
alone.
Peters joining you. Do you want to explain to our viewers, first of all, why were the two of you
Well,
getting
this is
tattoos?
This is Kicking and Screaming, our podcast. We
Okay.
put the word out to all our viewers out there. Hey, you vote. We gave you 6 different teams or 8 different teams, whatever it was, New York teams, and they chose the Yankees. I was pushing for the Mets. We got that close, but we didn't get close enough. And you know what? She got a little NY, a little small
What
one
about
down
a little
here.
Fox, you
No,
know,
we're
where
not
you
doing
work?
Fox. We don't.
No,
we're not
no?
doing it.
Okay, okay.
I got enough Fox when I'm here.
And
she got a little,
Bianca
as you
did
can
it
see,
too?
she got
She's
a
not
small
screaming?
one. No, but well, I will admit that she got it. And
All
then
right.
I turned around. She asked me to hit her with a little See that one right there?
Yep.
She said push down, so I put a little thing.
So
a
your
little
initials
dot,
on
and then he
Bianca?
turned it into a happy face.
Well, that was
And that's
nice.
what she got. See the little NY?
Oh, there you go. She got the New York Yankees there.
And that was mine.
All right.
And mine wasn't bad. Hers, you could see that she was grimacing.
All right. Well, and when
was
can
fun.
we see Kicking and Screaming?
Well, we go on live every Thursday. Now it's 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Today we went a whole hour. You can also catch it, and they
There
run
it
on.
is.
They also repeat on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Fox Local at 2:00 every Thursday. This one came out really well.
Okay.
There was a lot of engagement. All right. And people
well, tattoos
were
are popular.
amazed.
Lots of people have ink all over them, or
You know what I was saying today?
meaningful.
It's harder to find someone without ink than it is to find someone with ink. That used to
You're
always be the
standing next
case.
to someone without ink.
Well, you're a rarity
It's the
these days.
fear. It's the fear I have of pain.
No, I'm telling you, it was not painful.
Okay.
If you get the right tattoo artist and he does it right or she does it right,
But what if I change my mind in a year or two or
then
three?
Then it's painful because it's painful to get rid of it.
Then it's
Very painful.
So our viewers are sick of hearing about your tattoo. I can feel it.
I can feel it.
I want to know, or maybe not. They'll let us know in the YouTube chat. But I want to hear about Aaron Judge. What can you tell us?
Okay. Aaron Judge won the MVP. Yankee fans are happy. Let's get real. I like Aaron Judge. He's a great guy. He's not the MVP this year. Can we stop? The MVP? No, come on, stop
Say it isn't so.
Oh, stop. It's the guy in Seattle. He's a catcher, Cal Raleigh. He hit 60 home runs. Give me a break. He's the MVP. I think even Aaron was surprised. He looked shocked that he won it. He should not have won it.
He seemed pretty happy. He's with his family, the dog.
You're not the MVP. Yeah, of course he did.
2 dogs.
Bring the family out.
Yep.
Give me a break. I don't even know who those people are. But anyhow, the point is he shouldn't have won. No. Okay, this was not an Aaron Judge year, but simply like how baseball is. Shohei Ohtani wins every year. Aaron Judge wins every year. Why don't we just hand them the trophy until they leave the game?
All right, Yankees fans aren't going to be too happy about this.
Well, I think most Yankee fans might agree with me.
So I've been telling our viewers, Lou, that tonight we're not on probably at 10 o'clock. We're on a little bit later because we have an important football game going on. But we still will have a newscast as soon as it's over. So don't turn away.
No, don't turn
what
away.
can we expect? What's happening tonight?
On terms of the football game?
Yeah.
Well, right now it's 7-7. The Jets are actually in this game. They actually scored a touchdown their first drive. It's amazing. That's more touchdowns they've scored in the last 10 weeks. But the point is, they're actually won 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to get a little gel there with Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn said, give us a little time. He started 0-7, and at 0-7, it was the worst start in the history of any Jet coach. But the last 2 weeks, they've won. And last week, they traded away 2 of their best players, so they got a bunch of first-round draft picks. Their future's looking better. Team's playing better. They're starting to buy in. And it's amazing when you trade people. It's amazing. It's like, hey, everybody feels safe until 2 of the best players get traded away, and then everybody starts playing harder. Isn't it amazing how that works? Well, that's what's happening with the Jets. They're now playing better.
In a newsroom too.
We've seen a few. The guy behind us, and anybody behind us can be traded anytime. We'll trade you. We'll trade you the picks. We'll trade you the Channel 9.
Don't vote us out. Don't vote us out.
For 2 interns to be named later. You never know. It could happen anytime.
It could.
Anytime.
Do you have any other sports stories up your sleeve this evening?
No,
or is that it?
I don't have any sleeves. So
okay, I know.
Now, by the way, I just want you to know, they want to do Yankees. The reason I'm wearing this shirt, all right, I'm not going to Hawaii.
Okay.
This is a Met Hawaiian shirt, and that was my way of protesting that I did not like the Yankees. I wanted no part of the Yankees. I'm still a Met fan. So all you people out there who voted for the Yankees, I bought my Met shirt to say, the hell with you.
We're going to leave it there on this note. We're going to take a quick break. When we come right back, more news headlines and maybe more with Lou and his tattoo.
Listen,
we'll see. Keep
my
it right here.
My tattoo's not going anywhere. Staying on me. Wherever I go, it goes. It's amazing how that works.
All right. So, wave goodbye.
Goodbye.
There
Goodbye,
we go.
Gracie.
We need a hook for this show.
Or a trapdoor. Trapdoor would be more fun.
Yeah, maybe.
Gone.
All right.
Gone.
All right, there it is, Lady Liberty. Will you have Lady Luck? Isn't that what they call it in Vegas?
Wow. Roll
You
the
might
dice.
need
Roll
some.
the
Welcome
dice.
back to Newsroom Live. I'm Sharon Crilly reporting to you from the Fox 5 Newsroom here on the Upper East Side. You can see all the screens. We're monitoring develops. We just saw
Everything.
Joe Torre being interviewed with his
Wow.
charity being fed in.
His Safe at Homes Foundation,
And,
which is
you
a
know,
beautiful
Lou,
foundation.
I didn't want Lou to go anywhere, and I'm sure you did not either. We've already talked about your tattoo, but what we're going to talk about right now is you're working on Saturday.
Yes, I am.
But the drawing for the Powerball, $546 million.
Listen.
You don't want that money, do you?
546
What would you do with
nice.
it? Come on,
First of
come
all,
on.
546 is nice, but until it gets to $1 billion, I don't care. Like hit $1 billion, then I'm interested. 546, it seems like with inflation and the prices of everything, you're not going to survive.
Yeah. Well, I think 546, I would definitely take the payout right away. You know, whatever, even though it's lower.
255, right? That's what it says.
Yeah.
Well, we're blocking it with our Newsroom Live. Show the people. Get rid of the Newsroom Live for a second and show them the cash value.
The cash value, $255 million. I could start my own newsroom with that money, right?
Well, some.
Or
I don't know about this one, but yeah.
But the bureau would be somewhere possibly in the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly.
It's not going to be here.
Maybe Hawaii. The Caribbean's
Hawaii
gotten
would
a
be
little
nice.
dangerous of late.
Hawaii
People following
Bureau?
the headlines.
I listen, I already have the shirt for it.
You
so
do? Hawaii, a little
I would
luau.
love to go work at your Hawaiian Bureau.
Yes.
And for that'd be nice.
And you give me sports updates
Sure.
and
They
all
have
the rest
sports
of
out
it.
there.
Be awesome.
Everywhere there's sports. And back
Listen.
then, all the games are done, and it's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You can go and have a nice dinner after all the games are done. It's
Yeah, you know, and I would give some to charity,
Oh, yeah.
obviously. Because
I know. I
that's
always love that
important.
part. It's very nice that you say that.
It's
but we
true.
hear it every
I
time.
have
I'm
some
going to
charities.
give something to charity. They all say that. Everybody says that.
And
Why do
nobody-
people? And nobody
nobody-
ever gives it to charity unless they can
People
get a
give
tax
to
write-off.
charities. People give to charities.
Who?
It is good for taxes to give your money away. Plus, people have a passion project where, you know, they
I don't know.
they
I don't
feel
bother.
good.
Everyone says the same thing. So when we always go to these stores, we always do the stories, and we go up to people. So what are you going to do if you win? I'm going to give some to my family. I'm going to take care of all my relatives, half of which are a bunch of freeloaders. And then they say, what about charity? And I'm going to send it to charity.
We're gonna bring the
What
therapist
charity would that
in
be?
the
And
next
they always
time.
say, charity begins at home. So that's how it works. It's
All
always
right.
the same thing.
Listen, speaking of winning a lot of money, I'm in a good mood right now
okay.
tonight because the government has been reopened, and I know that federal workers, essential workers, are finally being paid again after more than 40 days
About
of the
time.
government
Which is
being
about time.
shut down. Many went to their jobs even without a paycheck. And, you know, once I get my winnings on Saturday, I'm going to want to get on an airplane perhaps and go somewhere.
And they're saying there's
we
still
want-
going to be some backups,
Yeah,
correct?
the Transportation Secretary Duffy says it's going to be still a couple of weeks until all this settles out.
How can it not? I mean, when you've
Yeah.
been backlogged and you've had people off of work, people
Mhm.
haven't been getting paid, it
Yeah.
doesn't just pop back up.
No. Let's take a live look at the U.S. Capitol tonight, Brian, because nobody's there tonight. They all, as soon as that vote came down, about this time last night, and then shortly after that, President Trump signed it in and reopened the government. And now, this will not surprise you, Lou. I know you follow sports, but sports and politics aren't that
It's all the
different.
same.
Democrats and Republicans are blaming one another for the
how
shutdown
shocking. How
and the
shocking.
repercussion.
Oh, that never happens. When does that ever happen?
Yes.
I can't believe that. You're trying to tell me they're doing one of these? It's your fault? It's your fault? I find it hard to believe.
And the far, a lot of...
I love the fact is that we open the government and the first thing they do is shut down the Congress and go home. It's
Yeah.
amazing. We open the government and then they go home.
And we talked about that with you last night. Your idea was maybe you should stop paying the congressmen and stop their health
That's
benefits
the way it
until they
should be.
settle the problem.
How
But it's
is
been
it-
settled.
How is it they always get paid? They always get paid. How is that amazing?
I don't know.
Everybody else can't get a paycheck. I guess they're not essential workers. Is that what, you know? I think all the essential workers who have to work and not get paid, these guys get paid.
I know. One last story before I let you go, and we look at the U.S. Capitol and we express our gratitude for lawmakers finally doing their job. What do you think about daylight savings? It just happened here that we fall back, we get that extra hour, but there's a movement in New Jersey to get rid of it
And I
altogether,
agree
in
with it.
Hawaii and Arizona
And I
also.
agree
How
with it.
come?
Well, because it's horrible. First of all, more accidents happen at night, and it's bad for driving.
exactly what the state senator I interviewed said.
Secondly, we had a stretch sometime during the 70s into the 80s where they did get rid of it, where we stayed on I always say daylight savings,
Right.
but the truth is, it's like when it's what do they call it?
don't touch the
Standard.
top, block
You
the
don't
clock.
touch it. There was no more
Yeah.
falling back.
Yep.
It was always, we stayed once we moved the clocks forward, it stayed that way for like 5 to 10 years, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I like it better. There's no reason for it to be dark at 5 o'clock at night.
Well, right now, we're waiting to see. This bill is in the New Jersey State Senate. It just got kicked out of committee. It goes to the Assembly next and then to the governor, or the governor left. Mikey Sherrill may sign it into law, but it still won't happen there, even though it is.
So you realize what that means? So you're going to be
It's gotta
here.
go to the federal government
You're
to
going to be
happen.
here in Manhattan.
No. That's a good question. We had people on our assignment desk.
How does that work?
How come the Times one thing in New York and different things?
Yeah,
in New
how does
Jersey?
that work?
It wouldn't happen. That obviously would be a big problem.
That would be a big
especially if
problem.
you're trying to get your kids at daycare.
Well, you're just going through the tunnel. Next thing you know, you lost an hour.
No,
how
the
does that work?
federal government has to make the call, and New Jersey lawmakers are just hoping by passing this bill they will inspire them to do that. So
Inspire.
we'll be following it for you.
Because
There is a bill in Congress.
the
but it's just
federal
sitting
lawmakers
there.
are always trying to be inspired. They're a very inspiring group.
Lou's view is both inspiring and
That's
cynical.
correct. I'm always inspiring.
Thanks for watching Fox 5's Newsroom Live. We're now joining Live Now's non-stop stream of live and breaking news.
Is now history. Travelers are now wondering if they should still expect flight delays and cancellations as U.S. airports begin to return back to normalcy. Airlines are seemingly optimistic that they